How to learn English TOEFL ITP listening test? Okay, I am Fami Arifah and my friend Fani Sheilamita. We are from class 3. We will give some tips to answer English TOEFL ITP listening test. For the first one, be focused. And then second one, you only have 12 seconds to answer each question. And the third one, if you have time left to answer the question, then take the time to look at the next answer. Don't stop. Skill number 1. Focus on the second line. In this skill, you need to focus on what the second speaker talked about. And for the example, you can see on the PPT. Here we just need to focus on what woman say. And she talked about that Billy forgot to turn in his research paper. It means he didn't remember to submit his assignment. The answer is D. And next, skill number 2. Choose answer with synonyms. On this skill, don't forget to focus on the second speaker and find the keyword, then look for the synonyms. And the second speaker here is man. He said easy. And it is a meaning with not very difficult. The answer is D. And next, skill number 3. Or avoid similar sound. On this skill, find the keyword on the second speaker, then identify words that have similar sound. And it is important. Don't choose the answer. For example, so sweet, similar sound, sweet, and fort have similar sound with fort and others. So if the keyword you find is, for example, sweet, so you have to avoid multiple choices that contain the word similar sound with your keyword. Skill number 4. Draw conclusion about who, what, where. In this type of question, the answer is not clearly stated. Instead, you must draw a conclusion based on clues given in the dialogue. One kind of conclusion that is common is, in this part of the test, is to ask you to determine who the speaker is. You can read the example. Skill 5. Listen for who and what in passive. If a conversation contains speech in the passive form, then the correct answer is using active voice. And for the example here, she got a new checking account. It refers for active. And the answer is A. Sally wrote several checks. And it's refer for passive. Skill 6. Listen for who and what with multiple nouns. There are multiple nouns in a sentence. It is common for the answer to confuse which noun does what. Be carefully with the several nouns here. And for the example, I heard that Mara replaced Robert in the band. And the nouns are Mara and Robert. But it means Mara took Robert place in the band. Next, skill 7. Negative or opposite. Finding the opposite from second speakers. If the speaker statement say negative, then look for an option that states positive or vice versa. And for example, unsafe refer for negative, but have same meaning with dangerous refers for positive. Not sad with happy, uncertain with hesitant, and others. Skill 8. Double negatives. Negative word don't, not, no, and negative prefix in, and, this. If we find double negative, it means the opposite or the positive. For example, I don't like unsweetened foods. Don't and unsweetened here refers for negative. And the meaning is, saya suka makanan manis. So if later you answer the question you find double negatives, it means you should find the opposite from this sentence. Skill 9. Common almost negative express. This expression is not completely negative. Almost negative expression such as hardly, barely, scarcely, only. The meaning of this word is almost non-existent or just barely. And the next almost negative expression is rarely and seldom. The meaning of this word is almost never or once or twice. And the example here, the man said, I had barely enough money. It is mean he paid the bill but has no money left. Or C. Skill 10. Negative with comparative. The comparative like more, er. Bentuk of this status is comparative. Here it is superlative. For the example here, more intelligent. It is comparative. But it is mean she is the smartest student in the class. The smartest here is superlative. Skill 11. Expression of agreement. The meaning is second speaker's proof with the first speaker's statement. And for the positive agreement like so do I, me too, I'll say. And for the negative agreement like neither do I don't either, and others. If in the question you find the expression of the agreement, it means that the second speaker agrees with the first speakers. So you can answer the question according to the context.
Skill 12. Expression of uncertainty and suggestion are common in the short dialogues, so you should become familiar with them. For example, uncertainty word, as far as I know, as far as I can tell. And for suggestion, the example of why not and let's. Skill 13. Emphatic expression of surprise are common in the short dialogues, so you should become familiar with them. When surprise is expressed, it implies that the speaker did not expect something to be true. For the example about expression of emphatic surprise, the verb is be, modal, present tense, past tense, and perfect tense. Skill 14. Conversation about wishes can appear in the short dialogues. The important idea to remember about wishes is that a wish implies that the opposite of the wish is true.
You can read the example. Skill 15. Listen for answer condition. The important idea to remember about condition is that a condition implies that the opposite of the condition is true. For the example here, if I had time I would go. It is mean it's impossible to go.
Skill 16. 2 and 3-part verbs appear in some question in the short dialogues. These verbs are expressions that include a verb and one or more particles, such as in, on, or at. The particle changes the meaning of the verb. Question involving 2 and 3 parts verb can be difficult for students because the addition of the particle changes the meaning of the verb in an idiomatic way. Skill 17. Idiom appear in some question in the short dialogues. Idioms are special expression in a language that all speakers of the language know. This special expression describe one situation in life but are applied to many different areas of life. Idiom question can be difficult for students because they seem to be described one situation when they are really describing a different situation.
Skill 18. Invert the subject and verb with conditionals. In certain conditional sentence structure, the subject and verb may also be reversed. The auxiliary verbs in the conditional clause had, should, or were, and the if conditional conjunction omitted. For the example here, more care had should be had more care. Skill 19. Anticipate question.
It is very helpful to your ability to answer individual question with the long conversation if you can anticipate what the question will be and listen specifically for the answer to those questions. Skill 20. As you listen to each long conversation, you should be thinking about the topic or subject or main idea for each conversation. Since the first one or two sentences generally give the topic, you should be asking yourself what the topic is while you are listening carefully to the first part of the conversation.
Skill 21. Conclusion about who, what, when, and where.
As you listen to each long conversation, you should be trying to set the situation in your mind. You should be thinking the following thoughts. First, who is talking? Second, when does the conversation probably take place? Third, where does the conversation probably take place? Fourth, what is the source of information for the conversation?
Skill 22. Listen and answer in order.
There are two possible methods to use when you listen to a long conversation. The first one, you can just listen to the conversation and ignore the answer. And the second, you can follow along with the answer while you listen. Some students prefer to just listen to the conversation while it is being spoken. And if that method works well for you, then that is what you should do. Other students find that they can answer more questions correctly if they read along with the answer while the conversation is being spoken. Because the detailed questions are answered in order, it is possible to read along while you listen to the conversation on the record.
I think it is enough for us. Thank you.